Friends, Bryan here, and I want to talk to you guys about a topic that I know a lot of people can relate to. Does money really buy happiness? And as somebody who's been poor and also has had a few years of being financially had some comfort, you might want to listen to what I have to say. Stay around to the end. Some time ago, I was at a store. And in the store, there was a woman ahead of me buying lottery tickets. And she must have spent a couple $100s on it. She had like a ticket a mile long. And I asked her, I was really curious. So I asked her, I said, the jackpot was like $70 million Canadian. So that was probably like $47 American. Okay, no political comments. I said, what would you do with all that money? Do you really think that that's going to make you happy? And she said, oh my God, I would do this and I would do that. And I said, yeah, it's going to bring you a lot of problems and heartache too, but we won't get into that. I wish you well. Wherever you live, I'm sure you can buy lottery tickets. The government's behind it. Have you ever noticed that? It's because they're selling you a dream. Be in debt, work all the time, pay a lot of money in tax, and maybe this might be your only exit to happiness in life. Coming into some money, happening to win the lottery. I'm not saying to not buy lottery tickets, but there's some things that we have to think of. Have you ever done the pie chart of happiness test? If you made a pie chart of your life and said, okay, hey, what are things I need or to fix or improve to be happy? What would a lot of people say? Well, the first one is probably, if I had more money or a better job, I could do this, 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 and this. Common one, I get it for sure. Another one, what would it be? Issues with my family, personal drama. I wish I didn't have that. That's why I avoid people, folks. Our health. We're at an age, when you get into middle age, a lot of people start dropping. A lot of people start getting really sick. Things start falling apart. I've talked about this in other videos. Tied into that is your appearance, right? If you had millions of dollars, but you look in the mirror and you still don't like your appearance, now, hey, when you're in your 50s, you're not going to be built like Mr. Olympia, but you can still look pretty good. Boom! Boom! Not bad, eh? 50 years old. Huh. That's why you probably notice in a lot of my videos, I encourage people to work out. Stay on top of your health. There's a famous saying, you spend the first half of your life to build wealth, and then you spend the second half of your life spending your wealth to get your health. Stay on top of it, guys. I know the battles. I did a video recently about depression. A lot of people should watch that video because it will help them. I'll put the link at the end. What if you're in a personal relationship that's toxic or you're with a disordered person? Like Bryan the dummy here. I've been in a few. It sucks. It's hell on earth. If you win money and you're in a disordered relationship, is that going to fix that? If you do manage to get out, half your money is going to be gone. That's why I tell anyone, hey, if you're in a bad relationship, I don't care. Nothing is worth it. Get out. Trust me, life is much better when you get your ass out of there. Now, I'm going to tell you guys a personal story. Years back when I actually had a little bit of financial comfort where I didn't have to worry about money so much. One of the great things about having money is, yes, you don't have to worry about getting the bills paid. You don't have to worry about making a vehicle payment or paying for your groceries. That is a nice feeling. That is a benefit from it. But a lot of bad happened with it, okay? One of the things that you'll hear from people that come into money, like the lottery, all of a sudden they have people coming out of the woodwork or family issues because people want to get the money from you or they want some money. But when people kind of started to perceive me as having some money, again, always pretend you're poor, folks. I started having a lot of people coming into my life that had sob stories, and there's nothing wrong. We all have hard times and there's a time to help people out. But these were lower class people, bottom of the barrel, just out to try and take advantage. And Bryan was a naive sucker. Hey man, I'm struggling. Can you lend me a few bucks? They started to make me feel like I was a walking ATM. Hey man, lunch is on you. I don't have any money. Okay, well, I've paid for the past 3 times we've gone out for lunch. Oh yeah, well, sorry, I don't have money right now, so it's on you. Oh, okay, you're telling me after we've eaten. Okay. Or people saying, hey, can you help me with my hydro bill? Can you help me? Now, I wasn't a sucker every time, but I had people in my life that were doing that. I did a really stupid thing. It was over 10 years ago now. I was out of shape, so I started working out at a really crappy gym where I used to live, in the town I used to live. And it was a mom and pop gym. And it sucked, but it was there, and I went and worked out. It was convenient. And the owner would start talking to me. To make a long story short, I got financially involved. paid for some renovations, equipped a big room full of equipment. And then I started to realize, oh, I had people coming up saying, there's like 4 liens on this building because they don't pay their bills, eh? Well, Jesus, asshole, I wish you told me this before. And then there was flooding issues. Apparently a few years before, they made a big flooding claim, but got the insurance money, but didn't do anything about it. Started damaging my equipment. They weren't keeping agreements. And once I realized I was screwed, I was like, dumb Bryan, always get a lawyer to check everything out before you get involved, folks. That was really stupid. Anyway, we had to go to court. I had to deal with some really fraudulent schemes to extort more money out of me. They were no strangers to this game. They were the classic sociopathic manipulators, scams, frauds. They were the type of people, and they've done this many times to many people. They would make their problems your problems and try and pull people in to screw them over too and to pull them down with them. And then they would do everything possible to ruin your reputation around town. The craziest stories, all kinds of BS that people would believe. Eventually, I would just think, well, get to know them. You'll figure it out really quickly. The truth does come out. I had so many contractors, so many people coming out of the woodwork saying, yeah, they screwed me out of money. Look, I have all the paperwork. I did this work. They never paid me. It was crazy. It was the craziest thing I'd ever seen. I'm like, my God, I tried to help these people. And look what happened. My God, I tried to help these people. And look what happened. When you go to court, at least here, the first thing you do is you do what's called a settlement hearing. That's where they try and get all the parties together to talk and to see if they can just come to an agreement and wrap up the whole thing so it doesn't have to proceed further in court. In the settlement hearing, at one point, the owner turned to me and my lawyer and said, your lawyer fees are just going to come up. You should just give me some money. And I said, I will never give you a fucking dime. I said, you've already gotten too much out of me. You owe me money. So that day I remember sitting there and saying to the lawyer, I said, this is wrong on every level. I said, do you see this often? And he worked for a very big law firm. And he said, Bryan, no disrespect, because I know this has cost you tens of thousands of dollars in damages. He said, we see this every day. Fraudulent lawsuits in the millions just to try and get money and extract money, because the concept is it's easier to just pay the people some money than to have to pay the legal costs. He told me, he said, Bryan, it happens all the time. See it. He said, it's part of life for us. And really, the lawyers make money. He told me, he said, that's how some people try and make their living, screwing people for money, even if they don't have a legitimate case. In my case, he said, he researched them and said, hey, they're in debt over $1 million just on property, mortgage debt. We're not even getting to other stuff. He said, we're going to have to find our way out of this. You'll win. We'll take them to court. We'll nail them to the wall. They're going to owe you a lot of money. But he said, then we have to do like a financial hearing. Then there's going to be a collection. He said, you'll never see your money. You ever heard of Ed Sheeran? He was famous for a number of songs, very famous musician. Well, he was involved in some copyright plagiarized cases. I do this a lot in my musical lectures. Okay, I talk about this topic a lot. Ed Sheeran had money. That's why people would come after him, because then it would be easier for him to say, hey, I'll just pay money so I don't have to deal with all the legal headache. I was just so naive, They thought I had money. So they're like, we're going to screw this idiot over. They've done it before to people. Friends, be careful out there. And, going back to my avoid people, when you have money, especially when you give off the vibe that you have money, there'll be people out there that will try and take it from you at any length. So, you'll hear a lot of stories about when people come into money. Yes, winning the lottery would be nice, but there's going to be problems that come with it. So, I hope for some of you, if you do come into some money, this video helps you out. Be very careful. Be careful who you trust. And people will change their perception of you. My father, God bless his soul, used to say, hey, if you win the lottery, he was a retired bank manager. He'd say, if you win the lottery, the first thing you do is shut everything down, lock up your house, and disappear for 3 months. I get it, Dad, you're right. Handling money is a skill. A lot of people don't have it. And I don't know about you guys, again, this whole thing with aging, my perception of money, although I was never really a big spender, has changed. I value money. Before I buy something, I don't like to just run in and buy something anymore. I like to stop and really think, do I really need this? Am I going to wear this? Am I going to use it? And like many of you, I look back on my life, different relationships, different things I put my money into, and I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? One of the things with getting older, you have that wisdom. I hope this helps, folks. And I do wish all of you happiness, but is it all going to be tied to money? And work on your health, guys. If you don't have your health, it doesn't matter how much money you're going to have. That's just me. What do you guys think? As always, comment below. This is Bryan signing off.